Hello, and here I am with a new guitar that I just purchased from a fellow in Vermont. It is a Roland G707 synthesizer guitar. Here it is. It's very pretty, very interesting looking. There is a MIDI controlling footboard, or a foot controller that goes with it. It's kind of an interesting history. There's this fellow right here was apparently the original owner. I think we don't know the name of this fellow. He apparently went to LA to try to make it big, never did, went back to Colorado and put it into a pawn shop where the guy I got it from picked it up. I don't know how long he had it, but the guitar was made in the 80s. So here it is. Tried it out before I bought it. There are quite a few problems with this guitar. Let's see where to start, really. So physically with the guitar itself, there is a back bow. So in other words, the neck goes like this, whereas most necks kind of, back bow. So it goes down. You can't see it by looking at it this way, but it actually goes down like that. And so the first 5 frets right here buzz. So let's see, this pickup is too high. So when you fret the instrument right here up high, it touches the pickup. So that's not a huge deal. The action is a little bit high right here, so probably the bridge will have to come down a bit. And as far as the synthesizer part goes, the middle 2 strings don't sound when you play the synthesizer. I don't know if that's the pickup or if that is this guitar chord. And it's got a specialized 24-pin chord. It's made of steel. It's got screws and everything. So if I have to, I could take it apart and I could, I'd have to go find a cord with 24 pins, or I'd have to build a cord with 24 wires and then solder it all up back together. And if that's the problem, why those don't sound. But there was a fair bit of really weird sounding distortion. Although when I tried it. At one point I was able to play some song out on the top 2 and then the bottom 2 strings, so it's working a bit. If it turns out to be there's a problem with this synth pickup, which is this one, I do have a whole other system, which is a Fishman triple play MIDI pickup, and I could just remove this, put that in its place. The Fishman is wireless, and I would get way more sounds than this. So it's actually the better option. But this is a vintage instrument. I want to make it work as it would have originally. And after all that, anyway. So as far as the backbone, the neck, from all the researching I've been doing on the internet, it seems like it's gonna have to be bent back in shape. So the truss rod, which is right here, that's the truss rod, the bullet truss rod nut. It's loosened off all the way. It's not a double action truss rod, so it's not gonna give it relief going this way. It's not gonna bend it back up from this position. That's not what a truss rod. A single action truss rod does it. If it was a double, it would do that. But so the options are from mild to severe as far as repairs go. I could either clamp it, so get 3 clamps here, here, and here. It is a bolt-on. So I could just remove the neck, which is what I would do, and bolt it into more of a position like this, so that it would hopefully, you know, bend back. Another one is I could get super heavy strings, like this feels like about a 9 gauge. Feels like about a 46. So I'd get super heavy strings, the heaviest possible, just wind them all up and try to bend it that way. That's a possibility. The other one is where it gets major, and that is to take a kind of like a trowel, and there's a specialized tool for this I could get, and just heat it up and just separate the neck from the fingerboard. Just remove it right off of there, and that way I could shave the neck till it's flat and then put the fingerboard back on. The other one is which is really, I really don't want to do, which would be to actually remove the frets and plane this flat and then put the frets back on. That there's no way I would do that one. In the worst case, I would remove the fingerboard from the neck and then flatten that. But I think probably what I'll do is just put some clamps on it and try to bend it back. First, probably the most logical would be to put some heavy-duty strings on here. What may have happened is this instrument sat unstrung for a long time, and the truss pressure, the truss rod just brought it backwards. So if you ever leave a guitar unstrung, you're supposed to loosen off the truss rod, and that way the truss rod is not continually bending the neck backwards. So probably the smartest thing for me to do is put some super heavy gauge strings on here and see if that'll put some relief, what's called relief or up bow, into the neck. So that'll be my first course of action. When I get this thing working, either with or without this pickup and with or without this foot pedal system, then I'll play it and just show you what cool things. If I did put the Fishman in, I would have way more options with the stuff I could do on this. I could actually divide the neck up into sections, both ways, and I could be playing a violin here, saxophone here, bass here, drums up here. I could just complete, and with loops and everything, I could basically do an orchestra type of a thing with this. But with this here, it's just one sound at a time. That's it. So, and either way, I'll put together something and show you what it sounds like.